Due to the heinous nature of these crimes, the district attorney will be pursuing the payments to the state of $100,000 in fine from each defendant, and will be pursuing the death penalty for all the defendants. Now we are gathered here today, ladies and gentlemen, to see that our 14th Amendment right is observed. For those who are unfamiliar with this constitutional amendment, let me provide you with a small part of what it says. No state shall deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor will it deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of those laws. Regarded as the Reconstruction Amendment ratified by Congress back in July 1868, it was put in place to give the newly freed slaves from the Civil War their rights to life, liberty, and property. Wrote 151 years ago. It still holds true today, October 20th, 2019. I make mention of this right because we are here to determine whether or not this state will deprive these men of their right to life. They stand accused of murder, but we must remember that we will have due process of the law before condemning them to the punishment of said crime, and also terrorism. It is by this process that these men are innocent until proven guilty. I'm going to say that one more time. It is through this process that these men are innocent until they are proven guilty or they themselves admit to guilt. With that being said, Mr. Braun, how do your clients plead?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Okay.
Did Mr. Carthus tell you how many suspects were in the vehicle?
I do not recall at the time.
Were these details communicated to other police officers?
Yes, right away we knew their heading as well. We communicated these details over radio to the multiple officers that were available and on duty at the time to begin our investigation to finding the suspects in the vehicle, as well as the kidnapped district attorney.
Was Air 1 deployed to assist in the search?
Yes.
How long did it take for Air 1 to locate the suspects?
I would say roughly around 15 minutes or so.
Did Air 1 call out the details of the suspects?
They called out details of men matching description as well as a vehicle over radio for us to go and investigate further.
Did these details match the statement of Ryan Carthus?
I believe so, yes.
Where did Air 1 locate the suspects?
It was up in Polito.
After locating the suspects yourself, what happened?
Well, like I said, we located the vehicle as well as the passengers that matched the description of the information we received from the crime at PDM. I went ahead and pulled over, or at least attempted to pull over the vehicle with the suspects inside. It was a black-looking vehicle, 4 doors, along with 4 occupants inside dressed in black, wearing some type of masks. Upon trying to pull them over, I initially called in for backup. The passengers of the vehicle broke out their windows and started to shoot at my vehicle, at myself along with my partner. I got shot several times into the chest as well as a bullet that grazed my neck, and I went off the side of a banking before partially losing consciousness.
Miss Angel, when my clients were arrested, what make and model vehicle were they driving?
I can't accurately tell you what they were driving.
So you can accurately tell me the minor variations of a Bovice outfit, but not the make and model of the vehicle in a murder investigation?
Objection is going to be...
What was the objection?
Badgering.
Badgering?
Yeah. Objection sustained. Let's go ahead and continue on with the question, though.
Well, I would still like to know why the make and model of the vehicle was not noted.
You may answer that question, Miss Angel.
When there's an active police situation, there are a lot of moving parts, and I cannot accurately tell you the reason as to why it was not noted.
Okay. Moving on.
Did you watch the video of Nora Dupre's death?
No, it's too traumatic to start.
Understood.
Did you see the clothing that Nora Dupre was wearing when her body was found?
I saw the beginning of the video, so I'm aware of what she was wearing at the time.
What was she wearing?
She was wearing orange.
Didn't you just say she didn't watch
track
it?
pants. I'm not sure how the exact word for it, but orange pants and a white tank top.
Is this what you were forced to wear when you were kidnapped and taken to Belvice?
Yes.
She just said she didn't watch it. Now she's seen it. What the fuck?
How many men did Adrian report kidnapping her?
Objection. Hearsay.
I don't see how it's hearsay.
Is Miss West prepared to testify to the veracity of what Mr. Andrews is about to say?
She is listed as a witness.
Well, you said Mr. Andrews is your final witness. So which is it?
She is listed as a witness.
Your Honor, if I
And
may.
is also written down in the police report.
Okay, y'all two pause. Explainer, you may. Go ahead.
Your Honor, when a
shit,
citizen
man.
gives a statement to a police officer, it is considered to be a sworn affidavit and is bound to the extents of the law. This statement was given directly to Trooper Andrews and submitted in an official police report. The police report is submitted into evidence.
Ron, do you have your
what's
first
that?
client? Or
Your Honor, I request a sidebar in chambers.
Okay, we may have a sidebar. Y'all can't come with me, can you?
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah. Okay.
We can't really. Well,
We just
depending
can't
on
say
It's a
can't
sidebar.
say anything.
Okay.
I don't have one. I only have the one from my case.
All right.
It's a bar, but it's on the side. Our opinion, but we can give you legal advice.
Please
Okay.
keep your voices
Alright.
down out there.
Well, I need to know why your star eyewitness isn't here, West. Andrews was up there testifying by proxy.
I can't answer that
We can-
question.
We can't account for Miss West's whereabouts. All we can say is that we asked about the sworn statement given the night of from Miss West that was given to Trooper Andrews. It's a sworn affidavit because it's a statement to police. It's recorded into the police report. The police report was submitted into evidence.
As a defense counselor, I have a right, and my clients have a right to know why that eyewitness to the shooting is not present.
No, they do not.
Yes, we
she-
do.
No,
She
they
has
do not.
she has a recusal from this court case for a reason that we are not allowed to disclose.
How convenient that is for you.
How convenient that you didn't submit her as a witness of your own, Counselor Braun.
I shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
Oh, you certainly should if you have questions for her, Counselor Braun.
What?
That's courtroom 101, if I may.
Okay.
Never fucking discuss.
No need to get cheeky, counselor.
Yeah, please. Let's stay civil. So, this sidebar. What is the goal of this sidebar?
The goal of this sidebar is to ascertain how credible her statements are to begin with. And you all know what I'm getting at.
I
It's
don't
a sworn
know
statement
what
on a
you're
police
getting
report,
at.
Counselor.
Yeah, I mean, it's already been allowed through, Your Honor. If it wasn't, I don't.
A
Okay,
sworn
say it like it
affidavit
is.
on a police report. That is a thing. The sworn affidavits on a police report are done with both attorneys present, if they have attorneys. That way, anything on that statement that's going to be used
You're thinking
in
of a
court can be
deposition.
cross-examined. No, affidavits are done that way too. If they're sworn in on a police report, because the thing is, if you want to give someone else's testimony in court, and that person has to be able to be cross-examined in any way, or it's going to be hearsay.
You touched it, George.
One of the
only
parties is.
exception is death.
Well, it's
With
it's
all due
it's technically listed as the individual not being able to be there, but it normally is construed as death. We're in murky water here. And
This
here-
is so basically what just happened of the testimony of Andrews.
Huh?
And basically testified in place of. I think I'm kind of going somewhere with this one, and I'm feeling like something may need to be done about that, because this is about fairness, and with murder on the table, and I'm thinking very heavily about this, seeing this.
From a legal standpoint, anything Andrew said,
it
responding
needs to
with
be-
what Miss
I-
West said,
I
needs
think-
to be stricken off the record.
Yeah, I think
Agreed.
I was going that way. I think
I mean,
everything.
You
Okay,
cannot
excuse me.
interject
Wait, this
this
is between us. I think
Okay, keep hitting me.
because Mr. Braun cannot cross-examine Miss West on the statements made by Andrews, they have to be stricken from the record. I'm more willing to stricken it from the record and allow
My
Andrews to
advice
come.
would be anything that police report is fine, except for any type of sworn statement given by a person.
And
But
I
anything taken from Mr. Mr. Andrews' own personal experience that he put in that report can be brought up in any way. Any sworn statement, unless she's dead.
Right.
and I
Only-
disagree.
only
I disagree
things-
with that. If it's in the report, it's good to go.
Only things that can
If
be
that's
said
the
in the
case, then
report.
we won't even have witnesses anymore. They'll just do sworn statements on the police reports, and defense attorneys will never
No,
have a chance
we're
ever
not
ever
gonna do that.
again. Go
We're
ahead
not
and
gonna
open
do
that
that.
door. See what happens.
No, we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna have the questions that will only pertain
Let it
from what's
happen
in that
once, then you
report.
open it to happening over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah, it's not a sworn statement. You can question the report. Fine.
I am reluctantly satisfied with the result. I would still like to know why Miss West is not here.
Again,
If it has any bearing on this case,
it
and
doesn't.
it's kept from me, then I'll not be too happy
How
about
would it
that.
have any bearing on this case? Mr. Braun, do you know where she is? Because you are alluding to the fact that you know where she is. So why don't you just say it? Go ahead.
What?
Okay, let's be civil. Okay, let's
Mr.
be
Brian,
civil.
I'll email you later.
Yeah, let's be civil. Okay,
Let's get out of here.
let's get out of here.
Like I said, Murph, there's, and I'm sure you're aware, there's things at play here that wouldn't normally be at play.
Would impact credibility? Absolutely.
When it happened, and I put as much pressure as I could on the bullet holes in his chest, and I made multiple calls. No one came right away in my mind. It felt like an eternity before anyone actually came, but as the EMS said earlier, she said it was only like 45 seconds before she made it there. Law enforcer was the person who...
Hang on, I want to stop you there, and I do have another question. While you were keeping pressure on Kermit's wounds and waiting for help, how would you describe your state of mind at that time?
Hysterical.
So, safe to say pretty far from calm.
100%.
Even though you just recalled both incidents of you speaking to police, you do not recall stating this.
I did not walk up to the door to PDM with Adrian.
That is not what I am asking you, sir.
Okay. Please restate the question.
I am asking you if you told police that Adrian had not made it to the door before the car.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So you did say that.
Yes.
Okay. Yet in the video, we can clearly see Adrian West make it to the front door of PDM. Do you wish to answer my previous question again?
She didn't go inside.
I didn't ask you if she went inside.
Okay, go
Asked
ahead.
and answered?
There's a objection on the table. Ask and answer.
I didn't
yeah.
ask this question.
Restate your
You
question.
literally said to answer the same question you asked again. That was your question.
No.
That is the very definition of asked and answered.
Okay. Re-ask your question again, Miss Katya, so that way I know whether it's...
I don't know exactly what I said. I don't...
Mr. Carthus, you were just recalling everything that you had discussed.
Yes, but which statement are you talking about?
I'm trying
Okay,
to
that's
clarify.
gonna...
Because you have a statement when I'm hysterical, you have a statement when I'm calm, and then you have a statement when you guys are already threatening me with other things. So pick the statement that you want me to answer.
There's an objection on the table.
All right, that is
Okay,
enough.
You need to calm down,
Okay.
Mr. Carthus. There's an objection on the table. Badgering is what it is. I'm going to sustain it. Let's go ahead and
My
try and keep
rebuttal to
things...
that, Your Honor, is
Okay.
that this is Mr. Braun's witness, and he is inherently hostile to me, which means battery does not apply.
Okay.
What the?
Okay, with that being said, okay. From here on, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to sustain the objection, but on the grounds that things need to remain civil between the two of y'all. Okay, you won't answer the questions directly, Mr. Carthus. Okay.
In the video, do you hide behind Kermit's car before or after Adrian is put in the trunk?
Before.
Okay, does this match what you told the police?
It should.
It should. Mr. Carthus, you just stated that you hid behind the car after she...
If you're looking at the video, the same video that I'm looking at, then you can see my head poking out. And you can see me observing her after I've already ducked behind the car.
Which doesn't match the answer that you just gave me 2 questions ago.
I don't recall.
Okay, so now you don't recall.
You're confusing me.
Your Honor.
I think I made my point, Your Honor. I'm going to move on.
Yes, please move on. Objection sustained.
What's happening here is very clear. So, Your Honor, people of the court today, we are hearing a case where murderers and participants in a terrorist organization under the name of Bullvice World and threats to the general public itself are being brought forth to face accountability for their actions. On October 8th, these 4 defendants ruthlessly murdered the chief ADA, Kermit DeLaw. The defense has submitted video evidence that is a failed attempt to lead this court falsely astray, as it directly contradicts simple details that both Ryan Carthus and Adrian West, as reported in Tony Andrews' police report, described to the police. In fact, there are several misleading details within the video itself. First, Ryan describes to police that there are only 2 men in the vehicle. How many men are in this vehicle in the video? 3. He also tells police that himself, Kermit, and Adrian were all 10 feet away from the door before the masked men pull up. What happens in this video instead? Adrian is at the door of PDM, Kermit is next to his vehicle, nowhere near the door of PDM, and Ryan is already crouching and hiding behind Kermit's car before the men even open the doors to the car and step out. All right. Additionally, twice in this video, Ryan Carthus is seen directly facing the person recording this altercation across the street. Kermit's car was facing the individual as well, so he and Adrian must have also been facing the cameraman when they pulled up to PDM. The 3 men in this video, all at one point, are facing the general direction of which the cameraman is standing. You expect this court to believe that not one person during this altercation noticed this? You expect Kermit's death to be excused due to the laziness of the defendant's attempt to cover up their actions. In this video, it is clearly seen that whoever is recording this video is standing in the street holding up traffic, but no one noticed. Ryan Carthus is wearing a bright red shirt, but wasn't seen by the kidnappers or handcuffed by them out of fear of him contacting the police and foiling their plans. Why was he given special treatment? So, Your Honor, I have 2 stances on this. Either the video is fake and Ryan Carthus aided in the cover-up of Mr. DeLaw's murder, or Ryan Carthus is a liar and intentionally gave police wrong information over and over again to aid in a cover-up. As read in the police report, Ryan Carthus gave several statements to police, and every statement he gave was different from the last, which all differ from the video. I can understand a few things being out of line with the video, but the fact that his entire statement to the police is so opposite to what is shown in this video gives me no doubt of his guilt as well. As I pointed out earlier, before arresting, Bullvice is a threat to state and therefore a terrorist by definition of the penal code. Mr. Pistone and Mr. Lepepe, along with 2 unknown participants, willingly assisted in active terrorism in the form of kidnapping and delivering of Senior Officer Angel to Bullvice Wilkinson, just as they were doing with Miss West. They have now been caught doing it a second time, and their only call to innocence is a very badly botched video of which matches no descriptions given to the police by the 2 surviving witnesses. Bullvice Wilkinson is a terrorist, and these defendants knew it, and they offered their helping hand not once, but twice. I also want to touch on the timeline. Adrian was without a doubt rescued from the 4 defendants called to trial today on October 8th. Officer Smith and Senior Officer Angel, along with Tony Andrews, confirmed that there was a span of about 10 to 15 minutes between the 911 calls of the murder and the officers gaining eyes on the defendants heading north on Great Ocean Highway to Paleto. And in the barn. Oh, excuse me. The defense suggests that somebody completely different from the defendants kidnapped Adrian from PDM, yet nowhere in Miss West's report or the police report referenced 12764 A or B. Does it mention her ever getting away from her kidnappers and being picked back up by another group? If the defense is expecting us to believe that they randomly came upon Miss West, why is the opposite reflected in the statement of the victim? Why was there no explanation given by the defense as to where and why Miss West was picked up by the defendants? Because it didn't happen. Not the way they're saying it happened. Again, the defense expected the court to be stupid enough to believe surface-level evidence rather than use our common sense and examine the evidence provided. I am forced to assume that the defense is trying to tell us that within a 10 to 15-minute time span, Adrian was kidnapped, dressed up, and dropped off just in time for the defendants to come upon Miss West, while also driving a vehicle and dressed in attire that matched the suspects in the initial report from the kidnapping and murder at PDM. Almost done. The defendant shot Kermit DeLaw in the chest, and not in the face, as this video also suggests, and they made Adrian change into Beauvice World fashion in Chumash. Exactly what they did to Senior Officer Brittany Angel. They headed north, where they were shortly discovered by Air One and a police chase ensued. There is no physical way that there was a second party involved unless all parties here can travel at a warp speed. Your Honor, members of the court, I know you are not stupid. I know you will look at all of the evidence provided before you today and realize that the defendants are guilty on all charges. In this instance, not only are the defendants guilty of terrorism in the form of aiding and abetting escaped death row inmate Beauvice Wilkinson, but they are guilty of murder by several accounts. I would also like to bring the court's attention to the felony murder rule, which states, if a murder occurs during the commission of a felony, that death is automatically elevated to murder, not manslaughter. Today, we have proved that the defendants are not only guilty of felony murder, but everyone in that vehicle, except for the hostage, is guilty of accessory to the murder of Associate District Attorney Kermit DeLaw. Your Honor, we have proved today that the defendants have shown that they are willing and able to do anything and everything to escape accountability for the atrocious crimes they have committed, including faking evidence in order to gain their freedom. I implore the courts to use this opportunity to take these violent, murderous felons off of the street forever. Thank you. Got him.
Your Honors, ladies and gentlemen of the court, we've been here about 4.5 hours, so forgive me if I'm a little tired, but I have to break it to you that we've wasted our time here today. And, you know, a lot of you have things to do and places to be, and I'm sorry, but this has all been a waste of time, and I will get to that in a moment. But first, the case on its face. Somewhere in the meandering conspiracy theory that the prosecution has just laid out with spurious, uncorroborated connections to this Beauvice fugitive and apparently his network of terrorist agents and sleeper cells. What this case boils down to from the prosecution's end is they've proved that there are a lot of inconsistencies and different details floating around in this case. Now, what I like to call those reasonable doubt. Love reasonable doubt. I can work with reasonable doubt. There is enough reasonable doubt in this case on its face to fill a swimming pool. So let's take a dip. The prosecution has provided no eyewitness testimony whatsoever to the shooting of Kermit DeLaw, only the subsequent emergency response and grid search and pursuit that netted the apprehension of my clients. There is a gulf of critical information and reasonable doubt that is missing from the time the suspects in the Super Diamond left PDM and when my clients were found in some other such type of black sedan with different outfits up in Paleto, which I think ended up near Stab City when they were apprehended. Point being, the details do not add up. I said at the beginning of this case that the burden of proof is on the prosecution for a reason. The prosecution owes a duty to the people to seek the truth and to find justice. The prosecutor in a criminal case is not at liberty to select out a part of an entire transaction which makes the case against the defendant and then to put the defendant to the proof of the other part. The prosecuting officer represents the public interest, which can never be promoted by the conviction of the innocent. All the witnesses present at the transaction should be called by the prosecution before the prisoner is put to his defense. The prosecution has failed to put on the stand either of the key eyewitnesses to the crime at hand. Miss West, for reasons unknown, has not appeared to give her version of events, and for whatever reason, the prosecution has declined to call the one eyewitness who saw the entirety of the shooting, Mr. Karthus, because there were some inconsistencies in his telling. Now, I would like to bring to mind the testimony given by officers, as well as Mr. Karthus, that he mentioned a gnome mask in his statements. Nowhere in the police reports that were provided by the prosecution is it mentioned in any of his statements given that there was a gnome mask. And that is because law enforcement and the district attorney's office have willfully suppressed evidence that is exculpatory to my clients and denied themselves the opportunity to examine a key eyewitness. It is the duty of the prosecution and the sole responsibility of the prosecution to decide whether to call someone as a witness. But they must call all witnesses necessary to unfold the narrative of events unless there is a compelling reason not to do so. Lapses in memory are not enough. You can impeach your own witness. As the prosecution seeks the truth, it must call evidence favorable and unfavorable to its case, which the prosecution here today has failed to do. There is a clear intent, which has been revealed by testimony here today, to obfuscate, obscure, suppress, and withhold key details to an eyewitness testimony of the crime at hand because it does not mesh with the description of the clients, with the description of the clients that were found in Stab City.
There was an objection. What was your objection?
That this is a conspiracy that Mr. Braun is brewing up and it lacks...
You want to talk to me about conspiracies, lady?
Mr. Braun, hold on. Can she object to say that one more time?
Yes, I can. I am objecting to his conspiracy of us withholding information purposefully, and it lacks foundation.
It's not a conspiracy. Trooper Andrews said on the stand that Mr. Karthus mentioned a gnome mask. It is written nowhere in any statements.
Mr. Braun, I'm going to overrule your objection.
Either way, there is absolutely no eyewitness testimony about the shooting in question and only spurious, ham-handed conspiracy mumbo-jumbo that links anyone to Bovice. Anyone in the city, anyone in the county can purchase an orange pants and a white shirt. Everybody who takes down jobs in this city wears black. Those are not bona fides that can net convictions with the death penalty. There's just not enough here. And I really, again, I hate to tell you that we've wasted our time, but I'm afraid we have. By not calling Mr. Karthus or Miss West to the stand, people have failed in their duty to you, the people. I rest my case.
Drop the mic, Murphy.
Hey, I'm gonna be honest. I think it's good you guys didn't get called in, right?
It would have been fine anyway. But yeah, bro, I haven't. It's really blows my mind that I have not once been asked about what happened.
That's so weird.
Not when I was arrested. Not when we sat in the cell for 5 hours.
Wait, really?
Not
Not
throughout
even
this
then?
case. No, not a single. None of us.
You haven't been questioned?
No.
Nice, dude.
We have no statements.
Not one fucking question.
Not one question. We sat in the cell handcuffed.
For 5 hours. and
Benny, they
fucking-
didn't
well,
ask
yeah,
you a
we are
single
suing
question
them
throughout this whole
already
thing, right?
for
Not in the cell.
5.5 hours, not one word was asked to me, just to go in a lineup. That was it.
We have no statements.
Nope.
The Super Diamond and the inconsistencies of the vehicle as well. So vehicle, weapons, keep saying AP pistol, and I didn't see the gnome mask. He's walking around me. This is a gnome mask right here. You can't even see what he's doing. He could be peeking over. You can't see what he's doing from here. He could be peeking over. He's behind the bush, but ducked behind the car. After deliberation, thinking very much on everything that happened and the heavy reliance of the plaintiff and the police reports that happened. All of those things being said, you guys running from the police with Ms. West, being found in your trunk, shooting back at the officers, and everything that happened is downright disgusting. Absolutely terrible.
Well, that's opinion.
But as I made my
okay.
deliberations on these reports, the police reports themselves,
Chang, I love you.
I found inconsistencies. One being from police report given to Sam Bass, where he states only 3 got out of the car and 1 was incapacitated, as opposed to the police report that was given by Andrews, where he said 4 got out of the car and ran. It's a big discrepancy. And I don't like discrepancies. I hold the police department to a very high esteem. The plaintiff not calling a key witness and the time elapsing for those 10 to 15 minutes are uncalled for. Nothing can actually be established except for these police reports that were mentioned, where I have pointed out an inconsistency inside of this report. It was duly noted as well. The failure to call Ms. West in. The plaintiff ferociously going after Mr. Karthus after going through a traumatic ordeal, where he did hold one detail to be consistent at all times. Granted, he was holding a dead man at the time. Remains that there was a no mask was there. So due to these inconsistencies and the failure to call a key witness to recall what exactly happened on the crime of murder, I'm gonna find you not guilty.
Boom, baby.
Yeah.
Calm.
Yeah. That's enough.
Hush. On the crime of terrorism, without a key witness to testify to the clothing of why she had these articles on and everything, and the fact that anybody can have this clothing and tell somebody to wear this clothing is circumstantial and cannot be substantiated without some sort of eyewitness to testify to these things in connection to this terrorism charge, as we call Bovice. Now, Mr. Vinny, you may have had some connection to him, but in this moment and in this case, I'm seeing differently.
Thank you, sir.
So due to that fact, in this case, I will find the defendants not guilty of terrorism.
Boom!
That being said, case is going to be adjourned.
Woo! AKA case closed.
Congratulations.
All I do is win, no matter.
Hey,
what.
represent the street.
Vinny, congratulations.
Thank you.
Mr. Chang, congratulations.
All right, everybody out of the courtroom.
Hey, Your Honor, represent the streets, Your Honor. Represent the streets.
Representing homies, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Speak.
Out of the courtroom.
Now, I need everybody to bet it.
Let's go. Hey, Bubby.
Good night, everybody.
What? Wait.
Joe.
No, I'm good. I don't need any. Okay,
I am a hero, a true citizen, a good man proven in court, a man of this country, a man that's here to do right. I am not a murderer or cowardess. I am good guy, #1 patriot.
Mr. Chang, did you want to say anything to the people?
I am a patriot of this country, a man of goodness.
Excuse me.
And this is a devil, you can see, disrupting things as always, disrupting your interview. Not me. I give back. I give to all. I am a fair and welcoming man, and I love you all. Fuck away in your pussy.
We're all gonna get shit faced.
Good night, everybody. I'm going to sleep too. Me too. See you guys.
Yes, the video is obviously fake.
Is that fake? Okay, I'm gonna ask you guys a question. Is that video seriously
we're gonna
fake?
have that person
Like for
stand in
real?
court
Like
and
did they
watch the
go out
video
and make
say
a
yes,
fake
it's
video?
fake because of X, Y, and Z, and these are my licensed credentials?
Oh my fucking god!
And what about the fact that the person recording this was clearly in the road and nobody...
We do the things that we do, it's magical. We'll never be like the others. Rational, our sweet escape, let them think